Hi, my name is Chris. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing Leetcode problem 29, divide two integers. It's in JavaScript. It's considered a medium problem. I definitely agree with that. It's not easy. It says given two integers, dividend and divisor, divide two integers without using multiplication, division, and mod operator. The integer, oh, that's weird. I got away with using multiplication, but that's okay. The integer division should truncate towards 0, which means losing its fractional part. For example, 8.345 would be truncated to 8. So all the numbers are rounded down, basically, right? Return the quotient after dividing dividend by divisor. Note, assume we are dealing with an environment that could only store integers within the 32-bit assigned integer range. For this problem, if the quotient is strictly greater than that number, we return that number. If the quotient is strictly less than that number, we return that number. Okay. So, how do we do this? Well, first of all, let's just take a very simple example, right? Let's take I guess we could take this first example, right? So we start with 10, and our divisor is 3, right? Now, let's say that we subtract 3 from 10, we're going to have 7. Let's say we subtract 3 from 7, we have 4. And then let's say we subtract 3 from 4. Now we have 1. Now we have a number that's less than our divisor. Okay, and that's what we're trying to do. So that happened. We did 3. Why is this done? Let me do this. 3 subtractions. 1, 2, and 3. And then we got a number less than our divisor. Right? So this is our result, 3, the number of times we subtracted from that number. Let's do this again just to make it really obvious. One more time. We'll take 20. Let's take 20 and 3. So 20 minus 3 is 17. 17 minus 3 is 14. 14 minus 3 is 11. 11 minus 3 is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay, now we have a number that's less than our divisor. So we perform this operation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, right? So if we think about 20 divided by 3, that's 6 point something, right? Because if we think, what's 3 times 6, right? It's 18, and then you have a remainder. There's 2 more to get 20. So that's how we're going to find this. So let's grab, or how we're going to solve this. Let's grab this. Move over to CodePen. Create our function. So now let's return dividend. Let's log into the console. Okay. So how do we do this? I'm trying to think how I want to explain this. Yeah, let's start from a very basic level, and then we'll see its pitfalls as we go along, and then improve upon our solution. I think that's the way to go. So what we could do is we can create a while loop that says while dividend. Oh, you know what, too? In order to do this, there's going to be negative numbers, right? So what we need to do is we need to work with just positive numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say new divisor equals math.absolute divisor. What that does is if you have a negative number, it makes it positive, this math.absolute. If it's positive, it just stays positive. And then new new dividend, math.absolute dividend. Okay, and then what we're going to have to do, here, let's just get rid of this for now. Yeah, there's something else we got to do first too. At the very end, we're going to, basically what we're going to do is we're going to create a while loop, and we're going to count every time we subtract new divisor from new dividend. I'll go ahead and do that now. So let count equals 0. But in order to do this, we need to work with positive numbers. So that's what we're doing here. But then we're going to return count at the end, and if one of these numbers is negative, well, count needs to be negative. So let's create a variable called pos neg, and here we can say, we'll use a ternary statement, and we'll say if dividend is greater than 0 and divisor is less than 0, or if the reverse is true, wait a minute. There we go. If the reverse is true, we're going to make this -1, else we make it 1. And then at the very end of the day, we can return count times pos neg, right? So if one of these is basically, if one of these is negative and the other is not, this is going to be -1, so we'll get count, and then we'll multiply that by pos neg. If one of them is negative, that's going to make count a negative number, right? Pretty simple. For the record, I did not get an error for using multiplication, even though it says you're not supposed to. Maybe you're just not supposed to use it in a certain context. I don't know, but I got away with it, so. Okay, so where were we? So now we need to create a while loop. And in this while loop, we're going to basically subtract from new dividend new divisor. Every time we do, we increment the count. And we can exit the while loop when new dividend sorry, while new dividend is greater than new divisor. That's what you want. We do that, right? So now we should get 3. And we do. Cool. So if I were to make this -3, we should see a -3. And we do. Okay. So there's all that. So let's try this out. Now, I already know this is not even going to come close to passing all the tests. But that's okay. I just want to display why, and then we can deal with it. So first we're just going to run the base test, and these should pass. No problem. And they do. Now let's go ahead and submit. Okay, not even close. So, dividend 1, divisor 1, output 0. That's not what I expected. I know why. This needs to be equals. Good. Okay. Okay. So that was a problem there. That was because I was not expecting that problem, but good. Okay. So this is the edge case right here. Okay. So if you notice here, it says for this problem, if the quotient is strictly greater than that number, return that number. If the quotient is strictly less than that number, return that number. Okay. So this number here is, is negative this. I'm just going to grab this. Right. I'm going to put it up here so we don't forget. It's negative that. Right. And then this number here is that. So these are the 32-bit integers. So we can't, if our answer goes below that, we return that. If it goes above that, we return that. So now the issue here is, because we're multiplying this by -1, we're outputting that. It needs to be 1 less. So this is just an edge case that we need to take care of. And I'm just going to copy it from my previous solution, just to get this out of the way. So basically, you just have to type it in and take care of that edge case. So we're going to submit, and now that'll pass, but we're going to have other problems on our hands. Yep. So we passed 13 tests. So that one passed, but now we're exceeding the time limit because it's taking forever to subtract 2 by this number, right? So we're running into some really big numbers. So we need to account for that. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. And I'm not going to do this in, actually, you know what? I'm not going to do this in CodePen because this is just going to cause our CodePen to crash. Oh no, let's actually, I lied. Let's come back over here and let's say this is 1,000, and let's say this is 5. And you get 200. Okay, that's not going to crash it, but we're going to take a big number like that so we can do something to optimize our code a bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the divisor a higher number. Okay. That way it's going to take a lot less time for it to for dividend to be subtracted, right? So we want to make this a lot higher number. So what we can do is we can create an inner while loop that does that for us. So here we're going to define a variable that says temp, and we're going to call it temp divisor, and we're going to set that to equal new divisor. And then here we're going to create a variable called multiple and set it to 1. And then we can say while temp divisor plus temp divisor is less than or equal to new dividend. So while that's happening, we're going to add temp divisor to temp divisor. And then we're going to increment, we're going to add multiple to multiple. Now, we're going to say new dividend minus equals temp divisor, and then count is going to be plus equals multiple. Okay? Now let's see this working. So we still should see 2,000 or 200, excuse me. Cool. Okay, so what is this doing? So let's console.log temp divisor by multiple. Okay. We're starting right here. So temp divisor equals 5 at the beginning, right? But then we add 5 plus 5, that's going to give us 10, right? Then 10 plus 10 is 20, 20 plus 20 is 40, 40 plus 40 is 80, 80 plus 80 is 160, 160 plus 160 is 320. Sorry, I'm thinking for a second. Starting, I'm sorry, I screwed that up. It's actually starting here, right? Okay. So all that holds true, right? But then we get, so 320 plus 320 is 640, right? So we get here, and then this, then we do this check. 640 plus 640 is not less than new dividend, right? That's going to be greater than new dividend, which is currently 1,000, right? And so, and what I should do, you know what? Hold on, I'm sorry. This will make sense, I promise. I'm getting to it. We're going to do another console.log statement. New dividend count, and then what we need to do is say outer loop, so we know what we're doing, or which console log is which console log, inner loop. Okay, good. So it looks like we're starting here. All right, so inner loop. 10 plus 10 is 20, plus 20 plus 20 is 40, 40 plus 40 is 80, 80 plus 80 is 160, 160 plus 160 is 320, 320 plus 320 is 640. That's great. 640 plus 640 is greater than dividend, right? So we leave this inner loop, right? Now notice we're also incrementing multiple, right? We're saying 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, right? So here we have 128, right? So we're leaving the inner loop with a temp divisor of 640 and a multiple of 128. So now we come to here and we say new dividend is, we subtract new dividend by temp advisor, right? So we're subtracting 1,000 by 640, and then we say counts, we're adding multiple to count, right? So now we're adding count 0, 120 to count, so we're here. So this is our console.log. So at the end of this first iteration of the while loop, dividend is now going to be 360, and count is going to be 128. Okay. Now new dividend is still greater than new divisor, right? So we do the outer while loop again. And so this all starts over. This time we get to 320 and we say, oh, 320 plus 320 is greater than 360. That's what our dividend is currently. So we stop, right? And then we take, we subtract 320 by, or we subtract, we subtract 320 from 360, and we add 64 to 128. So that leaves us with a dividend of 40 and a count of 192. Okay? Now we start this all over again. Once we get to 40, that equals dividend. Now we have a multiple of 8. We leave the inner loop, subtract 40 from 40, and add 8 to 192. We got 200. And now we leave our outer while loop and return count times pos neg. Since neither of these numbers is negative, pos neg is just 1, so we get 200. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's get rid of these console.log statements. And I think we should be good to go. Oh, one thing I wanted to, I'm going to grab this and put it in CodePen because I didn't do that. And I want to just copy all the code. Make sure I don't forget anything. Copy it. Move back over to Leetcode. Submit it. And look at that. Passes all the tests and it's fast. All right. Hopefully you found this video enjoyable and helpful. If you did, please like it. It helps my channel grow. If you'd like to see more like this, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again real soon.